Okay, my second video. A little update for the last one. If you watch my last video on corporations paying taxes, one of the things I used in it was 10% for their profit. Well, I only know of a few companies that actually work around 10% on profit, and that's the oil companies. They're at 7, 8, somewhere in there. But the money they're talking about is so huge, we're still talking billions of dollars they're making. Normally, the companies that we're dealing with every day, their return on investment they need is 30% to 70%. Now, when you factor those figures in, all of a sudden, you use that 3.5% I gave you then, multiply that, because now 30, that's 3 times that, you're over 10%. And if you go to 70% of the return on investment, now you're up there in the real heavy figures. But it doesn't stop there. The lower the stages in each group, the higher the return they want. In some cases, 300% return. Like say you've got a material you use, you make a product, and that's just 2 stages there. Then you sell it. Well, your markup's about 200, 300% sometimes. So we're talking some heavy money you're paying for these companies on that consumer tax. All right, let's get into today's. We're talking about swamp, and the best way for President Donald Trump to take care of that, well, you got to identify it. Let them self-identify, and there's one way to do that. This swamp that we're talking about is our Congress, our politicians, our House of Representatives, our Senate. You've seen them with the last bit on the trying to get rid of the Obamacare. That was a joke. Anyway, there's one way they're going to do that, and they will do it. But let's take a look at the actual people that we elected to vote their votes for us, not their conscience like some of them do this last time. I think you had 6 senators vote against just repealing Obamacare, and they're saying that Obamacare is better than going back the way it was. Well, they're nuts. We know it's better now. We know how to get insurance if we just put it back the way it was. We don't need repeal and replace. We just need repeal. We'll replace it ourselves. You'll get a job. They carry the insurance. If you have to buy your own because you don't have a job, well, start looking, start training. But here's the deal. The House and the Senate have one thing in common. They each have rules. Now, these rules are not in the Constitution. These rules are created by the House for the House and the Senate for the Senate. And they made them up to themselves. Gentleman's rules, whatever you want, parliamentary rules, whatever you think you want. One of the ones that's the ugliest rule is that 60 vote. There's nothing in the Constitution that says you have to have 60 vote to pass anything. What's in the Constitution is you have to have the majority. That means 1 vote over 50%. And that's the way it is. They put the rule in. So now they're using the nuclear option to get rid of that filibuster rule. Hey, President, there's rules. You have the authority of the pen for executive order. And now an executive order is actually a law. As long as you sit in that White House behind that seat and you're the president, that executive order that you sign is law of the land. Now, they may come out and say, well, you don't have the right to get rid of our rules, which we just created. That's not law. That's just something they created behind closed doors and agreed upon. Well, your executive order, I would sit there and have somebody go through all the rules, find the ones you don't need, write an executive order, get rid of them. Now, they're going to fight that. Well, they're fighting you now, so what? No big deal. But they're going to try to fight that, stop you from writing an executive order. They'll even take you to court and say you can't do it. When they pull that little punch on them, just refer to them with this one little fact. You can sue them against that so-called 60 vote rule. What you've just done is unconstitutional. 1 vote is 1 vote. Now all of a sudden you're saying 1 vote's only 80% of a vote. That's not constitutional. By invoking a 60 rule to pass a law, a 60 vote to pass a law, that's not constitutional. So you take it to court. Let the Supreme Court tell these little wacky, no, you can't do that. Now, once you get rid of those rules, they have to actually do an up and down vote. They have to show their colors when the thing's on the floor of the House or the Senate. They have to vote up or down. And like we just saw with the Obamacare, where the 6 senators voted against it, which we'll show you later on in some of our videos, how to get rid of them in about 3 months, not 2018. We're going to show you how to, there's a bye-bye clause in your state. We're going to show you that bye-bye clause. Anyway, President, just write the executive order, get rid of the trash, make them stand up on their hind 2 legs, let the people who vote them in really look at what they got for a representative and see whether or not they want to keep them. Anyway, we'll go do something here again there's another subject we want to get into, and it's going to be on immigration. And so we'll get to that again on our next video, but you have a good day. And again, I work on contributions. Just find a button, make your contribution, appreciate it. Keep me going here, because it's going to cost money once I start getting a lot of people coming to my site. I have to pay extra for that connection. So thank you, and you have a good day.